Cody Garbrandt versus Dominick Cruz. Someone suggested that I do a video on this. In case you're clicking on this years down the line, it is 2016. It's October. That's where we're at. Cody Garbrandt is 10-0. He's undefeated. But here's the thing. Someone said, can you do Cody Garbrandt versus Dominick Cruz, like a breakdown, or talk about it? Well, I'm not going to break their fight down. I'm going to talk about it real quick. Cody Garbrandt is 25 years old. Like I said, he's 10-0. We're not going to even talk about Dominick Cruz because there's no need to. Everybody knows Dominick Cruz is the best 135-pounder. Man, he was the best 135-pounder years ago, and he was gone hurt. And, we've seen Renan Barão come up. And, man, you think when Dominick Cruz comes back, just the nature of the game, he's going to be rusty. And we got Renan Barão. These guys are going to run right through him. That's what you would think. But it turns out it's the opposite, that not only was he the best then, he's the best now. I mean, Dominick Cruz would beat Cody Garbrandt without much trouble at all. Now, yeah, Cody Garbrandt could beat him. It's possible. It's highly unlikely that would happen. I don't even think he would even hit Dominick Cruz. I mean, you've seen Dominick Cruz's fights. No disrespect to Cody Garbrandt. He has a very bright future. Like I said, he only has 10 fights. If you look at his opponents, he hasn't fought, he's got to work his way up. Give him a couple years. I always said that, if guys start young, they kind of peak around 27 years old. I mean, it depends on the fighter. It does depend on the fighter, but that is an age where you are, when you're 27, you're pretty much still as physically able as when you were like 22. 20 years old, you pretty much still jump as high. But now you have experience. So that is a very, very, very prime age. It combines the two. I mean, you see it in sports, in baseball. Guys are young, they're great, they're super physically able, but they don't have the experience, they don't have the maturity, and it's kind of like that. 27. I mean, picture Fedor at 27. It's just a real. It's just a prime age. Guys are just really just sharp. Now, in MMA, we're currently seeing some older guys doing well, and older guys have done well, but that's because some guys have gotten into the sport when they're older, and then now with the more stringent drug testing, it's letting the guys that have experience and that aren't on drugs fight guys who maybe aren't as experienced, that don't have the drugs to help them. So we've seen some older guys. Actually, Dan Henderson is getting ready to fight Michael Bisping. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, we might see Dan Henderson knock out Michael Bisping in the rematch. This is highly unlikely. It's bizarre that this fight is even happening. But, I only bring that up because of Dan Henderson, because of his age and everything. But anyway, Cody Garbrandt, he would lose if he fought Dominick Cruz. Would he like the fight? Absolutely, he would. But even if he beat Dominick Cruz, him being the champion would probably be short-lived because he hasn't peaked yet. He's not to that level. It's kind of like I made a video on Holly Holm before she fought Ronda Rousey. I said she should not be fighting Ronda Rousey. I understand she's not old, but she's new to MMA. Give her a year or two, at least another year or two before she fights for the title. And, if she had done that, maybe Holly Holm would still be undefeated, or, you know what I mean? Obviously, she had that great win against Ronda, but it was very short-lived because she's not better than number 2 in the world, number 3 in the world, number 4 in the world. You see what I'm saying? Cody Garbrandt is not better than number 2 in the world, number 3 in the world, number 4 in the world, number 5, or whatever the list is. It doesn't make any difference if you're 3 in the world. Or you need to work your way up. You need to grow. And based on his age and based on where Dominick Cruz is at, if Dominick Cruz is still champion in 2 years from now, he's still relatively young, but he is older. He's getting towards that age where he's going to be in his 30s. Every day in your 30s, you're getting a little bit older, a little bit slower, and Cody Garbrandt would have a much greater chance of beating him 2 years from now. But he might not even have to. Who knows where Dominick Cruz could have been beaten by then? Who knows who will be champ? But based on Dominick Cruz being so dominant where he's at right now, there's no, keep your undefeated record. And yeah, I can lose at a, opponent that's not as good. These guys always want the big fights, but you have to let these fighters grow. You can't just throw people in there. And I personally don't like to see that. I think if guys that are ranked up high are losing, then you should team them up. Like, say someone's 2 in the world, but they've lost 2 fights, then you should team them up with somebody number 10. Because maybe they're ranked number 2, but they just took some damage, and they're not number 2 in the world. You see what I'm saying? So having them fight somebody number 10 gives somebody down here a chance to beat somebody that's maybe on their way out, and it helps us. It would help me as somebody that's a fan. If you're betting on MMA, it would help kind of size up where these guys are, because some of these guys they're up here and they're losing. They're ranked number 2 in the world. They lose 3 fights in a row. They still got them ranked number 3 or 4. And if you lost 3 fights in a row, if you've been getting knocked out, I mean, you might just be worthless as a fighter. Your brain, you might be getting knocked out. You might have a glass chin now, so you shouldn't be ranked that high. So if you team them up with somebody that's lower in the rankings, it helps guys move up, and it keeps things more real on where these fighters are. But that's not the case with Dominick Cruz. He's winning, and not only is he winning, he's looking great. So that's my fight breakdown. The fight shouldn't happen. If it did, that Cody Garbrandt would get outclassed. I'll see you guys later.